Okay, so today I'm going to tier rank my 2022 reads so far. So, we start off with Great. So Great is not like 5 stars, I'd say more around 4 stars. That's the highest that I'm going with for these reads. Next is Okay. Like, it was good, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, woohoo, great. Next up is Boring. I'd say this was like the most neutral of them because there's a lot of books I didn't like, and I'd say that's the most neutral of the ones I didn't like. Next up is Awful. There are plenty of those. And then next up is Evil. You're gonna see which books fit into that category. So let's start with it. First book is Believe Me. Now where should I put it? It was pretty boring. Was it awful? Ooh, this is kind of hard actually. I'll keep it at awful for now. We're gonna have to see if I change my mind. Okay, The Marriage Test. That's a good one too because it was really whatever. I guess it'll fit into awful for now. The Spanish Love Deception. So, I had read this book and it took over a month for me to read it. It was such a somewhat fun experience and also terrible and irritating and whatever. It at first was great. I was gonna give it 4 stars. I was really impressed. I was even considering 5 stars, but considering how it kind of dropped the ball and everything, I'm giving it an okay. So 3 stars. Now, Bad Boys Break Hearts. That's definitely going in awful. I did not like that one, I know. The Wickeds. Ooh, this one was a really bad read. Okay. We'll go with awful for that one as well. Now, I did not enjoy this one. I got this as an ARC, and it had a lot of flaws. It just was like, what is this? I don't think it's bad enough to be awful, so I'm gonna go with boring. So the Daddy Chronicles was this memoir. The author reached out to me, and it just wasn't my thing at all. I wouldn't call it awful, so I'll just go with boring. Next was The Upside of Falling. I had a good time with this book. It was not amazing, but I definitely enjoyed it, so it's going to go in great. Next, we got Harry Potter. I'm still confused about this one. It just didn't work for me. I just really didn't enjoy it. Now, I am sure this is still a great book. It just didn't work for me for this reread this year. I can't say it was okay, so I guess I'm going to have to go with boring. Next we got was 17th Summer. I thought this was very interesting. I thought it was like cool to hear about a time frame that I really didn't know about. I thought that was interesting. The story itself wasn't. The sort of time capsule of it was interesting. So while I appreciate the past, the relevancy of that, the overall content was boring. Now that Holiday in France, that book really didn't work for me at all. I didn't enjoy it, but I thought 17th Summer was somewhat good. But I wouldn't, well, would I call it awful? I don't know. I would say it's kind of like in the middle here. Like, it's not terrible, it's not awful, but I don't know if it's good enough to be boring. Because 17th Summer was kind of enjoyable. I guess I'll stick it here. I might change my mind. Now, Beezus Ramona. I picked this up because I wanted something really short. You know, it's a little kid's book. I actually had a better time reading Beezus and Ramona than I did this time around reading Harry Potter. It wasn't good. I guess it'll go with boring. Now, Graceful Burdens. I mean, I thought the feminism of it was kind of good, but also it was like so... It didn't really have enough, you know? So... It's not good enough to be okay, so I guess it'll go with boring. Okay, so next up, I read Better Than the Prom. I did not like Better Than the Movies, but I did enjoy this book. Should I put it with okay? It's not, well, I guess, it was kind of good. It's not good enough to be here, so I guess I'll stick it with okay, at least for now. I read Sweet Virginia. When I read it, I kind of enjoyed it, but also it is a little like, what was that? So I guess it'll go with boring. Rewards was definitely awful. Did not like that book. What even was that? Ooh, Focused was so good. That's going with great. Now, The Marriage Effect. While it was by the same author as Focused, it was not that good. This is hard. It wasn't good enough to be okay. I guess it'll have to be with boring. It's the least bad of them, but it's not great. Maybe not. Now, if you have not seen my September wrap-up, I don't think you're gonna know what I rated this. What do you guys think? Do you think it was great, okay, boring, awful, or the very special one? Yes, it went in evil. It's so terrible. It's awful. I don't understand how anyone could like Colleen Hoover. What was that? Ugh, awful stuff. If you guys want to hear my in-depth review of the book, please comment down below and let me know, because it's a mess of a book. Now, Mason Falls Mysteries, The House. Meh. I don't think it's good enough to be boring. Well, it wasn't awful either. I guess it'll go with boring, but it was meh. A very meh story. Alex, a delirium story, bad. So awful. The Guard goes there too. Now, Girl Wash Your Face, it was like a self-help book. It's not boring. It wasn't great either. So I guess I'll go with okay. I would say these two were definitely better than this one. It had its own thing, you know? Radiance. I really enjoyed this one. I had this book when I was a kid. I totally forgot about it, and I was like, yo! I don't know. The audiobook really worked for me. I really enjoyed it. Great. And Countdown to a Kiss. What even was that? It was a really short prequel novella that didn't really have a purpose, and some of the language they had there when they were describing these underage girls, it was sickening. I was like, eesh, don't say that. Okay, How to Think Like a Cat. I did not enjoy it. Is it boring or okay? I don't think it's good enough to be okay, so I guess it'll go with boring. Oh, now's the perfect time for me to have a 5-star. Whoops. But anyway, this is the Gravity Falls Sinister comic. I love Gravity Falls. That's like my all-time favorite show. So even though I don't have the full-on amazing 5 stars, whatever, it's totally great. So it's above great. So this one is top tier compared to the others, but this is where it's gonna be. Now Evermore, it happens to be the same author as Radiance. And so what had happened was I was like, oh snap, this is the same author. Because I was like, hey, this sounds familiar. I remember that girl's name. And I was like, Evermore, yeah. Now I didn't really enjoy it, but I was like, well, Radiance was a kid's book and I enjoyed that, so maybe Evermore would be good. It was not. So it wasn't a 1-star read, so I guess we'll go with boring. It was just bleh. Royal Valentine. I was displeased with this book. Awful. Well, it's kind of like a mix between boring and awful. I don't know. I think I'll leave it there. Okay. I had such a good time with this book. I was so surprised. This is a book I've had since 2014 on my physical TBR. I don't know why it took me so long to read it. I've just been, well, I think part of it is I've never enjoyed the show, and it's sci-fi and it involves space, and I'm like, I want to read about that. But once you kind of get past the space stuff and you're actually on Earth and everything, it gets good. This was a really good book, so great. And rule number 1, you can't date the coach's daughter. I thought this was going to be really cute. The beginning of it was pretty enjoyable, but eventually it was just getting very bleh. What even? No, I did not enjoy that one. So, yeah, I think, is it good enough to be boring or awful? I don't think it's terrible, but it was bad, so I guess it'll stick with awful. Oh, I could have done this the whole time? Are you kidding me? Oh well. Okay, so I think this is my tier ranking. So the best ones: Upside of Falling, Focused, Radiance, Gravity Falls Sinister Comic, The 100, and the worst one, maybe not. Oh, I hated that book so much. Yeah, I feel like this is accurate, because, like, these aren't good books, but they're, like, you know? And then these are, like, the worst ones. And I still don't know about these two. I feel like some are worse here than these two, but they weren't great either. Should I go with boring for these? I guess so. Like, these are, like, really awful. But these aren't great either. So I think they will be boring. So this is the official, I think. Okay. So these 31 books that I've read so far, this is my tier ranking of them. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know what you would tier rank for these. And also, if you enjoyed my tier ranking, please let me know. I've never done this before, but I thought this was really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. It would really help and support me. See you guys next time. Bye!